Hello, my name is Frank Victor. Mr. Green, the gentleman, the man in the gray coat. The name you don't say out loud. I drive an old Cadillac when I want to look nostalgic. I drive an SUV when I want to look like a family man. I drive a compact rental when I don't want to be remembered. I drive a luxury sedan when someone else is paying. I drive an unmarked panel van when things get complicated. I kill people for a living. That's the part you were waiting for, isn't it? The confession, the hook. You want to know how, you want to know why, you want reasons, motives, a story you can understand. Here's the truth, most people don't die for a good reason. They die because someone with money gets scared. They die because somebody important feels embarrassed. They die because the world is full of fragile egos and cheap tempers. I'm just the broom that sweeps up the mess. Oh, you think you're different? Everybody does. You sit there, watching this, telling yourself you'd never be involved with someone like me. But you already are. You do business with people you don't really know. You sign contracts without reading the fine print. You ignore the little voice in your head when something feels wrong. That's where I live, in the fine print, in the blind spot, in the part you skip. You know what my favorite sound is? Not the shot, not the scream. It's the silence just before that tiny moment when the world still thinks it's safe. Like the pause between your heartbeat and the next one. You never notice it until it's gone. I've walked past you before, you know, on the street, in the grocery store. Standing in line for coffee behind you, listening to you complain about the price. You didn't look at me. People rarely look at what doesn't stand out. That's my talent. I'm the background, the extra. The man at the next table who isn't worth a second glance, until he is. And the funny thing, I remember faces. I remember yours. The way you tilt your head when you're curious. The way your eyes narrow when you're afraid of what you might hear, but you keep listening anyway. You're listening now. Some people hire me, some people beg me, some people don't even know they've signed their name on the dotted line, but it all comes around in the end. It always does. I'm not a monster. I don't enjoy the screams. I enjoy the certainty, the clean, sharp end of a problem. You still think you have time. Time to fix things, time to apologize, time to pay what you owe. But time is exactly what I take away. Maybe we'll meet in a hallway, maybe a parking lot. Maybe you'll wake up in the middle of the night, certain someone's in the room with you. Maybe you'll see me first, maybe you won't. Either way, I'll be seeing you soon. So, apparently I've become popular. Ever since my last little chat with you, I've been getting letters, emails, encrypted messages, DMs. Some of you are very creative. Some of you can't spell. All of you worry me. No, I won't kill your dear Aunt Jane so that you can collect the inheritance. Yes, that's a real request. Aunt Jane, if you're watching this, your nephews are idiots, and cheap idiots at that. No, I won't whack your abusive boyfriend. Look, I get it. He's a drunk, he's a bully, he's a waste of oxygen. But you don't need a hitman. You need a lawyer, a good friend, and a suitcase with wheels. And maybe a therapist, for both of you. Then there are the entrepreneurs. I'll cut you in on the insurance if you take out my business partner. I've got this annoying landlord. My neighbor's dog barks all night. Can you make it stop? No, absolutely not. I am not your problem-solving app. I am not a deluxe customer service escalation. You don't just open a ticket with me and expect a refund in blood. Here's what you don't seem to understand. The people I deal with, they already live on the sharp edge of things. They know the rules, they know the risks. They don't write fan mail to a contract killer like he's Santa Claus with worse ethics. You, out there in your little apartments and your cubicles and your coffee shops, you think hiring me will make your life cleaner. It won't. It makes you dirty. It stains you in ways you don't wash off. You don't just go back to normal after you wire money to have someone erased. You don't just sleep the same way again. And if you think you would, then you're precisely the kind of person I never want to work for. Do you know how many of these messages start with, "I'm not a bad person, but you're always a good person until you want someone dead." Then suddenly I'm supposed to be your conscience with a silencer. Here's the funny part. You write me these desperate, angry, pathetic little notes. And then you're surprised when I don't answer. What did you expect? An automated reply. Thank you for your inquiry. Due to high demand, your assassination is important to us and will be processed in the order it was received. No, it doesn't work that way. You have problems. Some of them are real, some of them you created yourself. Either way, you want an easy exit. That's what I am to you. The shortcut, the cheat code, the final argument no one can talk back to. But understand this. My work is not a favor. It's not therapy. It's not justice. It's just death. Cold, simple, permanent. So stop asking me to kill your boss because he's mean. Stop asking me to take out your ex because she left you. Stop asking me to make your life better by making someone else stop breathing. You want revenge? Live better. Walk away. Burn their memory, not their body. Because the truth is, while other people might get mad, I kill people for a living. I hope I never hear from you again. Today, I'll be filling in for my Aunt Beatrix on her weekly podcast, Cooking with Bee. I'm afraid that my great aunt is ill today and therefore can't attend. Today's recipe is for succulent meatloaf, like my great Uncle Herbert used to love. All right, let's get to work. First, ingredients. Don't improvise too much the first time you make this. Get the basics right before you start playing games. You'll need 2 pounds of ground meat. Apparently, some of you have a problem with me. Dear assassin, I liked you better before you started doing cooking shows. Really? You used to be intimidating. Now you're filling in for Aunt Beatrix. First of all, Aunt Beatrix was sick. What was I supposed to do? Leave thousands of loyal Cooking with Bee listeners wondering how to make succulent meatloaf. I have standards. Then there are the emails. You're copping out. You've gone soft. What happened to the terrifying hitman from the first episode? He used to kill people. Now he's promoting cooking shows and sharing family recipes. Let me explain something. I haven't gone soft. I've diversified. There's a difference. A man can have more than one interest. You think because I kill people for a living, I'm not allowed to cook? What kind of narrow-minded stereotype is that? Everybody needs hobbies. Some people garden, some people play golf, some people collect stamps. I happen to enjoy cooking, literature, and killing people for money. Nobody's perfect. Here's my favorite. Dear assassin, when are you going to get back to doing what you do best? That one bothered me, because whoever wrote it apparently thinks they know what I do best. You don't. You know what I've shown you. That's not the same thing. You saw me sitting at this table. You heard a few stories. You learned a few aliases. You found out what kind of cars I drive. You heard me complain about people trying to hire me to kill Aunt Jane. You watched me make meatloaf, and suddenly you think you figured me out. That's adorable. The smart ones never assume they understand a man after 3 conversations, especially a man like me. People keep asking when I'm going to get serious again. When am I going back to the darkness? When am I going back to the danger? When am I going to stop fooling around with podcasts and recipes and start acting like an assassin? You really want that? Because I can do that, believe me, I can do that. But here's something you should understand. A little comedy doesn't mean there isn't a knife behind the curtain. A little cooking doesn't mean the stove is the most dangerous thing in the room. And just because I've been entertaining you doesn't mean I've forgotten who I am. Maybe I've been relaxing. Maybe I've been enjoying myself. Maybe I've been giving you a false sense of security. Or maybe I've been setting something up. You want the old assassin back. You want something darker, something stranger, something that makes you wonder what exactly you've gotten yourself into. Fine, but remember, you asked for it. Just wait. You ain't seen nothing yet. Sometimes jobs are smaller than expected. Sometimes jobs are bigger than expected. Sometimes my expectations get blown away. Is this exciting enough for you? There. Now, are you satisfied? I should have listened to my Aunt B and become an accountant. To hell with it. I need more aspirin.